A new immigration law in Florida is causing people to panic and run leave the state. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. A new immigration law, which was signed by Ron DeSantis, is causing people to run leave Florida. Videos of panic in Florida is not very hard to find at this time. They are on the internet and several blog sites showing empty farm fields, scanty construction sites, and hardly anyone to cut grass or anyone to do odd jobs anymore. The law states that businesses with 25 or more employees must verify citizenship status through federal online portal E-Verify or they will face strong penalties. Fines as much as $1,000 per day if they are found guilty, and that business could lose their license to operate in the state. Florida is home to over 800,000 undocumented immigrants, and many work in these kinds of fields. And not only that, some of these people have adult children born in the United States and they've been here for decades. They are now threatening people to say you cannot help anyone undocumented even if they are family members. People are not turning up to work as they fear deportation, so a lot of job sites are empty. All over the state, job sites now have people not turning up to work, as most are now heading out of state to Georgia and other states that does not have these racist or draconian laws. Several undocumented workers were also given notice of termination by some employers who themselves are scared of being charged for human trafficking, which carries a fine of $10,000 plus you get time in jail. People are fleeing and the law is not even in effect just yet. It doesn't come into effect until July. And by the time it comes in, other states will be benefiting from the skills of these laborers and employers who cannot operate in this draconian rule of law. But here is the reality. Less people will be shopping in Florida, and the grocery prices are going to go up as fruits and other produce are going to be rotting in the fields as there will be no one to harvest them. And this is just another reason why I could never ever vote for a Republican. Meanwhile, over in Jamaica, opposition Senator Peter Bunting has noted that concerns about unbalance might arise in light of the new salaries announced on Tuesday for members of Parliament and other members of the political executive. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark had announced the compensation increase in the House of Representatives, starting with the Prime Minister's salary, which has now moved from $9.1 million in 2021 to $25.2 million effective April of this year. You see how much money that from $9 million to $25 million. The opposition leader's salary moves from $8 million in 2021 to $22.7 million effective this April as well. The Minister of Finance will also be paid a salary of $19.2 million as at April 1st, 2022, $21.7 million as of April 2023, and $24.6 million per year as at April 2024. Other cabinet ministers and the speakers of the House will see their salaries move from $17.8 million in 2022 to $20.2 million in 2023 and $22.8 million in 2024, while the Minister of State will be paid $14.3 million per year in 2022, $16.2 million in 2023, and $18 million in 2024. He said while he understands the rationale for the increase, the announcement may not be well received, particularly among teachers who have had challenges relating to the new compensation structure, including late payments. He is also calling for the outstanding negotiations and salary inconsistencies for other public sector workers to be quickly resolved. And those are the words from Bunting, who is also going to be benefiting from these. People, this is a sin. Almost every government department, from roads and work, teachers, police, nurses, doctors, every government worker went on strike between last year and this year because the government would not give them even 5% raise. And here we have parliamentarians getting over 200% raise. I hope on election day that these people in Jamaica remember this. The retired U.S. Army officer charged for the shooting death of a man in Buff Bay in Portland last year has been ordered to stand trial for murder before the Portland Circuit Court. Emil Lee Tracy, a 45-year-old resident of Florida, was on Thursday ordered to stand trial for the murder of 43-year-old Craig Sr. before the Portland Parish Court, and he's scheduled to appear in the Portland Circuit Court on June 5th. Prosecutors said that Mr. Sr., a resident of Woodstock Heights in Buff Bay, was shot dead in front of his wife on Sunday, October 9th. And investigators reported that Mr. Sr. was at home with his wife and daughter when the retired soldier drove up to the yard and called out his wife. Mr. Sr.'s wife went to the gate and told the man to leave, and this led to a heated argument between the two. Mr. Sr. then intervened and confronted the American about his presence at his home, and it's alleged that the American pulled a firearm and shot Mr. Senior in the abdomen. But the million-dollar question is this: was the woman in a relationship with this man that now has caused the death of her husband? We're trying to figure that one out. The police have charged a 17-year-old boy in connection with last month's deadly gun attack on a public passenger bus along Spanish Town Road in St. Andrew. Marsha Sanders, a 40-year-old higgler of Central Village in St. Catherine, died in hospital a few days after the April 21 incident in which 6 other persons, including some children, were wounded. The teenager was charged on Monday with murder, 6 counts of wounding with intent, shooting with intent, being in possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and using a prohibited weapon to commit a felony. And he was one of 2 suspects who was arrested and positively pointed out in an identification parade. Reports from the Hunts Bay police are that the teen and another man attacked the bus along Spanish Town Road and opened fire, hitting 7 people. A man who had entered the bus was reportedly the target of that attack. A jerk chicken vendor who is facing robbery charges from an incident in St. Elizabeth last month was denied bail when he appeared in the parish court on Wednesday. Sean Reed, also known as Ramaria Shaw of Newport in Manchester, is now scheduled to return to court on June 9th, and he's charged with robbery with aggravation, possession of an illegal weapon, and using an illegal weapon to commit an offense. It's reported that on April 6, Reed and 3 accomplices robbed a supermarket supervisor of his licensed firearm. They then attempted to gain access to a Western Union outlet inside the supermarket, but they were unsuccessful. Reed was arrested after he turned up at hospital with a bullet wound to the foot after he accidentally shot himself. He was later positively identified. And in court on Wednesday, it was also disclosed that at the time of the St. Elizabeth robbery, Reed was out on bail for another robbery and firearm charges in Manchester. So this is a badass Clady. St. James police are investigating a quadruple shooting that occurred on Wednesday night in Bogue Village in Montego Bay, St. James. 2 of the victims were killed. Jermaine Miller, 30, has been identified as one of them and the other by his moniker, Tall Man. According to reports, a group of individuals were at a business location about 9:45 in the morning when 2 men armed with weapons attacked. 4 men were injured. They were taken to hospital where 2 of them was pronounced dead. Onto sports, Mid Forests are back to the top of the table in JFF Tier 2 competition following their come-from-behind 2-1 win over Reno at the Constant Spring Field on Wednesday. Joshane Foster gave Reno a 22-minute lead, but goals from Owen Gillier and Chevron Warren handed the Cassava team 3 points. Elsewhere, St. Catherine Racing United battled out a 1-all draw with Brownstown, while Albion Mountain clipped True Juice 2-1. Falmouth United were held to a 1-all draw by Lime Hall, while Portlanders, courtesy of a double strike from Cardiff Mackenzie, flagged Downs United 4-1. Hopewell United pick up their first point and win of the season by edging Baptiste Alliance 1-0, while Wadada were humbled 3-1 by Treasure Beach at Irwin as the St. Elizabeth team now move to 3rd place. On to NBA, the Denver Nuggets got lucky last night and managed to escape and beat the LA Lakers 108-103 in the Western Conference Final. LeBron James actually had 2 clear chances within the last minute to even or take the lead, but he missed, resulting in the Nuggets getting 2 free throws and held them off. Tonight, the ever great giant killer Miami Heat will try to slay the Boston Celtics in Game 2 after beating them in Game 1. And it's going to be very noisy in Miami tonight as Miami try to go 2-up. And if you ever miss the news on this radio station, please go to YouTube, type in Jamaican Undiluted News, listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.